The sentencing hearing for Jimmy Dimora continues.
Well, here's the very latest here from the federal court in Akron. Well, here's the latest from the federal courthouse here in Akron. Both government prosecutors, defense attorneys, Jimmy Dimora, family, friends, and us spectators are in the courtroom on the 5th floor awaiting for federal judge Sarah Leoy to take the bench. As you might recall, at about 11:45, this was to resume after she called a 30-minute break at 11:15. She has not returned yet, but we understand what will transpire now is that both sides will be able to, in a sense, wrap up their case for why Mr. Dimora deserves more or less time in federal prison, and then she will render a decision on how many years he remains behind bars. Now, this is very important. What happened this morning is this. After arguing back and forth on how many years, he now faces up to 30 years and 4 months. The range is roughly 24 years to 30 years and some change. And that's a result of the judge finding that Mr. Dimora was, in fact, the leader of a criminal conspiracy. Judge Leoy made that determination after both sides made their case, and she finally decided that he was, in fact, the leader of a criminal conspiracy, and that he created a culture in Cuyahoga County government where things of value were expected and demanded. And within that group, you had to be a member of what was called, what she labeled, the circle of trust. When she went further on that, she said in the case of Frank Russo, who faces sentencing on corruption charges, Mr. Russo simply expected millions in cash. Mr. Dimora, now this is the federal judge Sarah Leoy's words, expected home repairs, meals, and sex in return for bribes. So that was a very significant ruling this morning, and two other significant developments. His defense attorneys tried to knock down the number of years spent behind bars by saying that his health was poor and that the dollar amount of the bribes, now clocked in at about $450,000 worth of bribes, overstated the seriousness of the crime. And Judge Sarah Leoy ruled in both cases that that made no sense to her, and so they were unsuccessful in diminishing the amount of years he was to spend. So right now we are awaiting court to resume. If we look over to my right, you might be able to see where we are set up for. This will be a live news conference, and we will break in with this. We are told that both the FBI, the special agent in charge of the Cleveland office, the head of the IRS, as well as federal prosecutors will be speaking once sentencing is conferred in anywhere from, at this point, anywhere from now to an hour from now. So we will break in and bring you all of the latest, both on News Channel 5, on Twitter, and on NewsNet5.com live streaming. Live from the federal courthouse in Akron, I'm Chief Investigator Ron Regan.
We will be standing by, Ron. Thank you very much. And remember, News Channel 5, as Ron mentioned, will bring you continuing coverage of this story with our team of reporters and producers. You can follow the story on air, online at NewsNet5.com, on your iPhone, your Android, your iPad, and of course on Facebook and Twitter.